I can't agree with you more. I mean, when they did that, when they put her in there, I was just like, what is he doing? All right, the other serious question I have for you. Over, I guess, last 10 years, maybe even longer, there's been like this whole musical scene out in like the Sweden, Europe, where it's like they took like our 80s and they brought it back to life over there. Don't you kind of like feel like it's already been done? It's late. I mean, there's been some good bands come out of there. I mean, you managed, Vane DeGena. I mean, they were a great band, but didn't you feel like it's over? Like,
no, I didn't, because here's the thing. I mean, some of the stuff that Wolf Mother or some of these other bands have done in the last 5 to 7 years. I mean, some of that goes back to some of what was going on in the 70s as well. And the fact that all these young kids suddenly thought Bleach was cool, or Manic Panic, and shiny buckled, leather pants with buckles on them. I mean, I like the fact that somebody embraced that again, because it just, here's the thing. Just like the 80s bands, everybody got sick of grunge. Everybody got sick of the power metal guy, which you'd go see a band, and it was the same thing, whether it was the biggest of bands like Disturbed or Five Finger Death Punch, or the local regional band that's, these guys are badass, And it's like there's a singer who's bald, and he's kind of short, and he's stocky, and he's really fucking angry looking all the time, and he's covered in tats. And then there's a bass player who's got a goatee that is, basically down to his fucking belly button, and he puts some little black beads on it, and, he snarls, and he's got some weird dreadlocks on one side, and he walks around, and his pants are all, look like, they're his uncle's, who's, works on cars all day, and then they got a guitar player who's, wearing some type of, sweatsuit, and his guitar's hanging really low, and he's kind of walking around like a monkey, it's like... How many more bands do we need like that? So, and that they did the same thing. When TUFF came out, it was like, okay, well, we had Danger, and we had Dangerous Toys. We had Pretty Boy Floyd, and we had, Alley Cat Scratch. We had, TUFF and Poison and LA Guns and Guns N' Roses and, Guns and this and, LA this. And at one point it's just like, okay, how many more guns can we have? How many more roses and skulls and tattooed bad boy frontmen with blonde hair and red headbands? Like, okay, there's enough of these. And then at one point, the same thing happened. How many more short, kind of chubby, bald, dreadlocked, weird beard fucking bands do we need? And it just ran its course. So I think what happened at one point was like, even the guitar players, the kids in the 90s, there was no guitar heroes that came out of the 90s per se,
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You had the 70s, you had the 80s, you had your, Zakk Wylde and Dimebag were the last couple guys that really, really impacted guitar hero, guitar god kind of aspects where they were like, people like, wow, I want to be like that guy. And you'd see a cutout. Like all these death metal bands, for a long time, it was just like the majority of the playing was like, and there was no Steve Vai, Eddie Van Halen, Slash. Slash was bluesy. Zakk was a little bit more of a burner, but I mean, they had riffs and they had solos, and there was like the guys, in Limp Bizkit and Korn were doing all kinds of weird effects, and it just wasn't the same, And I think at one point it ran its course, and these kids were like, they saw on YouTube the pictures of Shotgun Messiah or Pretty Boy Floyd or Motley Crue on the Shout at the Devil era and went, holy fuck, like I don't see any bands like that at Ozfest, and these young kids slowly were getting influenced by it. And that's what happened when I would go and play these places in Europe. I'd go to Spain or Brazil or down in, some other obscure place, and there'd be these kids that would show up at my shows wearing Faster Pussycat shirts, and they were like 17. And I'm like thinking, where did you get a Faster Pussycat shirt, and how did you even get into this band? Because you weren't even born when all of us were already dropped from our label,
They probably bought it off eBay for like $100 or something.
Yeah, well, and that's what happened is YouTube, the internet, has given this style of music a revitalization as far as people like seeing, there's no way to see a Headbangers Ball video band unless you go on YouTube,
Yep.
and with the internet.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to do a last of before we give you some more final plugs before the East Coast tour. So I got to ask you a couple last questions. Who's the last person you talked to on the phone besides me?
That sounds like a Metal Sludge question, huh?
Absolutely.
Robbie Crane. I actually talked to him today. I mean, well, I talked to the kid's mother about an hour ago.
The kid's mother?
Yeah, she's at work still. My kids actually just ate and did their homework, and they're on the couch watching cartoons right now. But the last notable person to your listening audience would be Robbie Crane.
That's the last TUFF song you sang live.
Oh, my God. Trying to think when the last time I played a TUFF show. Well, it would almost, no matter when the show was, it would probably be American Hair Band, because that is essentially our, final closer, encore for the last several years, since it's such an amazing rock and roll smash.
There you go. The last time you received a TUFF royalty check?
What is today? April? Probably 11th. In December, because you get them like 4 times a year. But I get them from a couple places. I get them from ASCAP, and I also get I get them from this digital thing too that does all these Sirius Satellite Hair Nation kind of tracking. So I get an ASCAP check quarterly, and then I get a digital one.
The last time a fan talked to you about Metal Sludge?
I mean, online, probably today. I mean, it's not like I see, it's not like I go to pick up my kids from grade school and somebody walks up and goes, "Hey, I ordered my Metal Sludge shirt. Where is it?" But with that said, I have been recognized by a couple of kids' moms at my school at one point. They're like, "Is your name Steve?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Are you in a band called TUFF?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh my God, I used to listen to you when I was a kid." And I was like, "Okay, great."
Last hairband CD you listened to?
Well, I had the Marvelous 3 in one of my players the other day in my car or my truck, but that's not essentially a hairband. So let me think. It would have to be maybe Rat Reach for the Sky, I think.
That's a good one. That's passable. And the last time you were mistaken for Bret Michaels?
You mean like really, or like somebody sending me a stupid thing on my Facebook and going, "Hey, are you Bret Michaels?"
Yeah, no, a real mistaken one.
A long time ago. I mean, yeah, in 1990, when me and Bret still had our own hair and a red headband on, and we're walking around with leather pants and boots and jackets with fringe on it. There was times when there was people that might have thought I was him, but I think the average fan was like, nobody
ever came up to you and asked you about Donald Trump or nothing then?
No, not even close.
All right, there you go. Stevie Rachelle from TUFF. They're coming back to the East Coast for the first time. Is it the first time in 20 years since you guys been out here technically to play?
No, well, I played the East Coast with TUFF in 2001. But it was me with right after American Hair Band had come out. I played like Long Island. I played Dingbats. I played some stuff, Boston, whatever. And then again in 2005, I was kind of in the Midwest, Ohio area. I think in 2007 as well. But I mean, Philadelphia and Baltimore and Pittsburgh and a few of those. It'll be the first time since probably like the mid '90s. I'd say like '95.
There you go. And hey, we're giving away a pair of tickets. Tweet right now. I heard Stevie Rachelle from TUFF on Totally Driven Radio, and we're giving away a pair of tickets to the Philly show at the Rebel Rock Bar May 2nd. So go there, see TUFF, sing along, and don't break his balls too bad.
But I'll be there, and I welcome anyone to come out and have a good time, and we'll rock.
And he'll be on tour for 2 weeks, so see them East Coast, Philly, Baltimore, M3, Dingbats, Jersey, Pittsburgh, many other places. Go to TUFF CDs and buy his merchandise. He has children to feed.
Yeah, TUFFCDs.com, or, find me on Facebook, Twitter. It's funny. People email me like, how do I find your CDs? And I'm like, have you ever heard of Google? You could type the word TUFF, music, rock band, hair band, bald singer, whatever. You're going to find like 1,000 links to anything related,
Oh, that's awesome. Stevie, thank you so much. Hopefully I'll see you May 2nd, and maybe I'll come out after we're done our radio show, come out and visit. But again,
maybe?
thank you so much.
Did you say maybe?
Hey, I'm like you. I like have work in the morning. I have kids.
Right.
Well,
Billy's going to be there, and I'm going to do my damnedest to try to get a couple of guys from Brittany Fox to come out too. So I look forward to it. And
hey, the last time I saw Billy Childs, is he going to be there? Last time I saw him, I don't know. I mean, I'm reaching out to those guys. Including our old manager Brian Kushner, who lives in that area. So I'm already putting a squeeze on. I'm putting a squeeze on. I told him you guys got to be there. I mean, I'm bringing Todd Chase on the bass. So this is unacceptable if people don't show. All right. Well, I'm going to try my damnedest.
Who's your next guest?
Actually, we go off the air in 7 minutes.
Okay.
See that?
So I'm the finale.
You're the finale. You're the headliner.
All good.
All good. Stevie, thank you so much. Go to TUFF CDs, buy their stuff. TUFFCDs.com, or just Google.
Thanks for your support, guys. Be well.
You too. Take care.
Okay, bye.
All right. Wow.